All right, greetings everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right, so before I start this video, sorry about that, we are doing the January 2021 paper 2 for social studies. All right, before I start this video, I want you guys to go over to my other channel, that's Corey Fences on YouTube. Go over to Corey Fences and subscribe. I'm at 1,400 subscribers and 2,000 watch hours. I need 2 more thousand watch hours to get my channel monetized. So I want you to go over there, subscribe, and also watch the videos. I'm going to put the link in the description down below. So Corey Fences over there. The link is in the description down below. All right, so for today, we are doing the January, see it on the screen. It's the January 2021 paper 2 for social studies. So that's what we are doing. This paper, going through the questions and formulating the answers, I realized that this paper was pretty easy. So those who did this exam in January, boy, they got away with a lot because this was very easy. All right, so the paper has 2 sections. Section A with 4 compulsory questions from family right down to regional integration. Then section B has 3 questions where you will choose one. So you will choose from among consumer affairs, tourism, and communication. So for this video, we will be looking at the first 4 compulsory questions in section A. Good. First question says, define the term incest. So you can use a textbook, you can use the internet, you can use a dictionary. This is pretty easy. So incest is sexual relationships between close relatives, like for example, brother and sister, uncle and niece, aunt and nephew, mother and son, father and daughter. Those are examples of incest. Good. Next part of the question now says, state 2 effects incest may have on the family. Effects are victim may become a delinquent. So after going through that trauma, the person probably might start acting out, right? Engaging in negative social activities like risky sexual behavior, turn to a life of drugs, using alcohol, those kinds of things. Another effect is that the family may blame the victim and say that it is the victim's fault and the victim pushed on themselves onto the perpetrator, those kinds of things. Good? So for this, you just need a sentence to state the effects because it is 1 mark for each effect. So you don't have to write a lot. All right, next question now says, a young couple, sorry about that. A young couple is planning to start a family. Outline 2 actions this couple may take to prepare themselves for parenthood. So this comes right under the topic of preparation for parenthood. So what should the young couple do in order to plan to start a family? They are planning to bring a baby into the world. Think about it and tell me, what is it that they need to do? The number 1 thing, or I shouldn't say the number 1 thing, because the number 1 thing would be health, having a healthy body, right? But outside of that, like the second most important thing is to be financially stable. So they must be able to take care of the child and also take care of themselves, especially the mother, because the mother has to be eating nutritious meals in order to feed the baby, because remember that baby is going to drink breast milk now, right? So they must be financially stable to take care of the child financially, because a baby is very demanding in terms of finances. Next is that they must become emotionally stable. They must be emotionally well to take on the challenge of a newborn in their family, because we know all kinds of things can happen with babies. For example, some babies born sick, some born deformed, some born okay, but you know that the baby actually takes short naps and they get up at various hours of the night and the morning. So the parents have to be emotionally stable and ready for that. Great. So let's go to question C now. So question C says, substance abuse is an issue that can create problems for the family. So I said, suggest 3 actions that an association for the protection of the family may take to prevent or reduce the occurrence of substance abuse in the family. Next part says, explain how each action suggested in CI is likely to be successful. Again, this is where a lot of students fall down. This is asking you to suggest an action and then justify that very same action that you gave. So first, if you realize on the exam script or the exam paper, I should say, they have the area that you should outline your action and then you explain or justify your action. So you're going to explain why you think the action that you suggested will work, right? Your answer just needs to be practical because social studies is predominantly about problem solving. So if you notice, let's look at the question again. It says, suggest 3 actions that an association for the protection of the family may take to prevent or reduce the occurrence of substance abuse in the family. So if there's anybody that is abusing any kind of substance, right? What action can the association for the protection of the family can take to prevent or reduce substance abuse? What can they do? Number one reason is that they can offer counseling to the person who is abusing substance and also the family members who have to deal with that kind of person. Why will it work? Now we're explaining. Counseling can actually unearth the deep-rooted problem that has caused the person to become a substance abuser, or it can help to remedy the problem, show the person that there is a better way to deal with problems, to deal with their issues than abusing substances. All right, so counseling is very effective, very powerful. Another action is that they can have workshops. So have a workshop with substance abusers, and persons who have to deal with them. Show them the effects that substance abuse can have on their bodies, the health risk, right? How it damages certain internal organs. This is going to be successful because people do not want to become sick. Worse, people don't want to die. So that will send a strong message to them that, look here, this that you are doing is not good for you health-wise. It's not good for the body. And if you don't stop, these are some negative things that are going to happen to you. And I think that will scare people into no longer wanting to be a substance abuser and stop. Good. Next action now is they can send the person to rehab, a rehabilitation center. That is where they can get them to come off of the substance that they're abusing and no longer use it. So rehab is very, very, very effective. That's a good strategy to use. A lot of the social issues in social studies, counseling is a good strategy, but don't just write counseling alone on the paper, but explain how counseling can actually help to remedy the problem. We are at question 2. So question 2 says, one of the characteristics of some, hold on, scroll up back here. One of the characteristics of some groups is that membership is often involuntary. What is meant by the term involuntary membership? Involuntary membership is where an individual has no choice in joining that particular group. That is involuntary membership. Next part says, give one example of a social group in which membership is involuntary. Membership, is involuntary in some gangs. Membership is also involuntary in some military service in some countries, like in North Korea. Military service is mandatory once you reach a certain age. So that is an example of involuntary membership of a group. A family is also involuntary because you have no choice in joining your family. Good. Involuntary would be, but I don't think schools would be considered a social group though, but schools are involuntary. Good. You have no choice primary school, I'm talking like primary school, basic school, you have no choice there. Next part of the question says, other than membership requirements, outside of membership requirements, describe two differences between formal and informal groups. One difference between formal and informal group is that formal groups requires marks of identity, while informal groups don't have any marks of identity. Most informal groups, that is. Another difference is that there are clearly defined rules and regulations with sanctions in formal groups. Now, in informal groups, there are no rules and regulations. People do whatever they want to do. They do what pleases them. B says, outline one reason why the government is classified as an institution. The government is classified as an institution because it endured over time, right? It still exists today, right? There are formal ways of joining and exiting the government. That also makes it an institution. C now says, citizens of your country are concerned about the rising crime rate in society. Good. Suggest three likely reasons which may explain the increasing in crime rate in some countries, right? Three likely reasons to explain why crime is increasing in some countries. Number one reason why crime might be increasing is that crime pays. A lot of people make money out of crime, and that is what causes some type of crimes to be increasing because persons are benefiting financially from it. One example is lottery scamming. Whenever persons take up the phone and they scam people, they actually go to Western Union or MoneyGram or wherever and they get money from it. So persons now are going to see those persons making money and say, look here, if they make money from this lottery scamming thing, then I also can make money from it. And then they now become a lottery scammer. Good. Another reason why crime is increasing is because a lack of jobs. There are high levels of unemployment. So persons can't get to make money legitimately or legally, then they turn to a life of crime to get money by illegal means. Good. Another reason why crime is increasing is there is a lack of enforcement of laws in some country. I can speak specifically to Jamaica. We have a lot of laws on the books. We have a lot of law on the books, right? Laws for almost everything, right? But the problem that we have is that a lot of the laws are not being enforced. So citizens realize that, look here, government don't business. The government are not responsible for enforcing the law, don't business. So here, if I do this, chances are I'm not going to get caught. There will be no penalty. There will be no sanctions. A person just commit certain crime because they know that the chance of them getting caught is really, really small. So they will continue. Good. Next part of the question says, explain three actions a government can take to help control the rising crime rate. So if the crime rate is rising, what can the government do to control them? Right? The government can increase employment. If persons are gainfully employed, making a livable wage, then the chances of them turning into a life of crime will be greatly reduced. It's going to be very slim. Good. Another thing that the government can do is remove the money out of crime, right? Remove the money out of crime, make it very difficult for persons to benefit financially from crime, then less persons would want to turn to a life of crime. Good. Another thing that the government could do is enforce the laws that are on the books. Enforce the laws, because if people realize that there is a great possibility that they will be caught, charged, found guilty, and given long sentences for crimes committed, then a lot of persons will want to stay away from a life of crime because nobody really wants to go to prison or get their freedom taken away. Persons won't want to do that. Then crime will be greatly reduced. All right. So you give your reason in each section, and you also give your actions. So write on the lines that have been provided to you. All right. So question 3 now. It says define the term labor force. Again, use a dictionary, use Google, use a textbook. What is a labor force? So a labor force are all the people who are of working age and able and willing to work. That is the labor force. Simple. Next question says, state 2 factors that contribute to the development of human resources. 2 factors that contribute to the development of human resources is access to good quality health care. So persons can take care of their health, take care of their body, so their body becomes big and strong and able to actually work, and their mind can focus in school and learn all they can and pass the exams and become competent. Another thing that helps with the development of human resource is access to education and good education, so that they can learn the skills necessary to become employed or to become self-employed. Good. Next question now says, explain 2 named factors. Explain, how 2 named factors may lead to a high rate of unemployment in a country. Pay attention to this, because if you just give a reason that can lead to a high rate of unemployment, then you might not get the mark, because the question says, explain how 2 named factors. So you must name your factor and say how they may lead to a high rate of unemployment in a country. Good. One factor that may lead to a high rate of unemployment in a country is introduction of technology in a particular field, right? For example, technology was introduced in cane cutting. So there's a machine that can actually harvest the cane. You can Google it, watch it on YouTube, and see how the machine works. That invention of that particular machine caused a lot of cane cutters to become unemployed, because the cane boss no longer need them, because the machines could actually harvest cane instead of people, right? Washing machines, again, in terms of technology, has caused a lot of quote unquote days work. I don't know what you guys call them in the other Caribbean islands, but in Jamaica, we used to have ladies who would go around and wash for people, like go to people's houses and wash, and they would get a salary for the day or for the week. But washing machines have eliminated that sort of employment. Good. Another issue is a fall in demand, because if people no longer require a particular product or service, or the demand for it is getting lower and lower and lower and lower, it means then that the person who is producing is going to want to cut staff in order to maximize profits. So people might become unemployed because persons are no longer interested in that product, and it's becoming obsolete, and something else is hot on the market that people no longer need. I don't know if I can speak specifically to Jamaica, because I'm a Jamaican, obviously, right? I don't know if persons will remember, or some of you probably too young to remember what is Princess Crunch, right? Or if you're Jamaican watching, you can ask your parents about Carbolic soap, right? That used to be very popular when I was a child. I was like, Carbolic soap, Rude Boy soap, right? Those things used to be very popular. My mother used to go to the market and buy those soap, right? The Carbolic was for bathing, and the Rude Boy soap was for washing. And people used to go and say, oh, it makes white clothes white and pretty. But there has been a fall in demand for those kinds of products over the years, because persons have moved on to other things. Now we're moving on to Oxymaster, right? And that is a free plug I give in Oxymaster. Oxymaster, you can collaborate with me and support my channel, right? Because I'm big up on the product. Good. So yes, Oxymaster. So there has been a demand, a cut in demand, a drop in demand for certain products, and it can cause persons to become unemployed, because the business will need as many workers as before. And we know that businesses create linkages, because they would have truck man for drive the truck, a side man who actually put the goods on and take them off. So if production has fallen because of a fall in demand, then it means that persons are going to become unemployed. Good. If there's a general outbreak of diseases, like what we see happening with COVID-19, which has caused a shutdown of the entire world, many businesses have had to close down, right? And some of them still have not recovered. And because the businesses have closed down, it means that persons are going to be without a job. So that is going to cause high levels of unemployment. Right? As for 2, I'll give you 3. All right, let's move on to the next question now. Next question says, you will soon be completing high school and have started to consider employment and self-employment opportunities. One of the things you could do is prepare your resume and application letter. Good. So I says, suggest 3 other important steps you may consider to prepare yourself for employment opportunities. Good. Next part says, explain why each step is important in your search for suitable employment opportunities. All right. So outside of preparing your resume and application letter, right? This question is asking you to suggest other things that you would consider important in preparing for employment opportunities. And then you're going to say why those things, are important. All right. So one of the most important things to consider when preparing for employment is the type of job that you desire. So as early as possible, you need to know the type of job that you would want, or the type of business that you would want to open or go into. So you must have knowledge of the job that you want or the business that you are going to open. This is going to be important so that in school you are able to focus all your energies in that particular area, in that particular field. So your energy is directed there. So you are going to be the best that you can be in that particular area. But another thing which is important is to get certified. Get certified. Get certified. Ensure that you are certified, because nothing beats certification. Even if you're going to become self-employed, go and get certified in the area that you want to become self-employed in, so that when you open your business, you know every P's and Q's. You know how to cross every T and dot every I, so nobody can take you for a fool, right? So I should have said this one before I said become certified. After you agree on the job that you want to pursue or the business that you want to go in, it is to research the qualifications needed for the job you desire. That is what I should say. Research the qualifications needed that is desired for the particular job, so that while in school, so for example, if you know that you want to become, say, a banker, right, or a banker, well, you know that mathematics will be important, information technology will be important, English language is going to be important. Subjects like principles of accounts, principles of business are going to be important. So if you want to work at the bank, you have to do the business subjects, office administration, you have to do those things. You don't go, if you want to be a banker, you don't do social sciences like history, the geography, the literature, because those subjects are not so important to becoming a banker. Good. If you know then that you want to become an engineer, say a mechanic, then you know that you must do the technical subjects, right? Like the industrial technology and the mechanical technology, those kinds of subjects you would want to do if you want to become an engineer or if you want to become a mechanic. Those are important. Understand? If you want to become a sports therapist or a sports masseuse or something like that, you know that's a subject like physical education is important. So you must research the qualifications that are needed. So you get the CXC, whether or not the job requires you to have an associate degree, a certificate, a degree, a master's, good, those things become very, very important so that you are aware and then you are certified. Good. Next thing you can do to help prepare is to become an intern or an apprentice. Sorry. So you go into the area and you volunteer so that you can gain the experience so that you can get a job in the area. So internship can be very advantageous to a person, or it can be, in other words, it can be very beneficial to a person. So you can become an intern. Good. Now we are going to move on to question 4, the dreaded regional integration, right? That a lot of persons, a lot of students are afraid of, even some teachers become very, very afraid of regional integration, right? This is the first essay and the only compulsory one, only compulsory essay. Here, the first one. For social studies, you only answer what you are asked. So you don't need an introductory paragraph. You don't need a concluding paragraph. You don't need a thesis statement either. You only answer what you are asked. And I love how they broke down the question for the January 2021 paper. As I said earlier, and I'm saying again, this paper was pretty easy. So students must have gotten some good grade ones out of this, right? Because this was pretty easy. I love how they put the question in parts so persons know specifically what they're asking for. So you just answer each of these, you just indent from the line and answer in a paragraph. Then you indent again, you don't have to skip any line, but indent to show that you are answering a new part of the question. All right, so the first part of the question says that define the term economic integration. Good. Economic integration is economic cooperation between countries and coordination of their economic policies, leading to increased economic links between them. So that's pretty easy. Next part of the question says, describe 2 ways in which natural disasters can present challenges to the economic development of the region. We know that natural disasters are things that happen by nature that humans have no control over, little to no control over. So how can these natural disasters now be challenging to the economic development of the region? Good. Number 1 is that natural disasters damage equipment, which halts production. And if production has been altered, it means then that there is a fall in profit, there's a fall in the money that is being made. So that can have a negative effect on the economy, right? Another one is that natural disasters may cause some businesses to close down permanently, right? And if it is closed down permanently because of the extent of the damage, it will mean that workers will be out of jobs. Good. And then now, if those workers become unemployed, it means that the government is going to pull on resources to take care of them, because it is the duty of the government to take care of its citizens. So if certain citizens can't take care of themselves, the government has to take care of them. So that will put a financial strain on the government and negatively impact the economy, because money that is that should spearhead other projects will have to be pushed and pulled in order to take care of the citizens who are unable to take care of themselves. Next part of the question says, explain 1 way in which insularity can hinder regional integration, right? You have to know what insularity means. So you need to do your research, right? Protecting jobs, manufacturers, and suppliers in their own country, which can be in conflict, right? So insularity, that is what insularity means. Countries are going to want to protect the interest of their people and their country. So sometimes they don't want to agree to the terms of CARICOM or CSME. They try to find a little loophole to block other people so that their people can survive, right? This can hinder regional integration because persons might, let me not say persons, but countries might want to pull out and say, look here, I'm not into this regional integration business, because some countries don't want to play fair. It's, for example, Jamaica and Trinidad years ago, when Jamaica was sending party to Trinidad and Tobago, and their foreign affairs minister was saying, no, they're not accepting the parties from Jamaica until they come to Jamaica to inspect the facilities where the parties are being made. And our minister foreign affairs at the time, Anthony Elton, had to say, no. We're not waiting until you come here and inspect any facilities. Remember the agreement in the treaty by CSME says this and says that, and Trinidad had to back up. No offense to my students from Trinidad, but Trinidad had to back up and say, okay, all right, allow the parties to come, because the Treaty of CARICOM says that, sorry, not CARICOM, but CSME says that there should be free movement of people and goods. You understand? So Trinidad can't just block the shipment if they have no real legitimate reasoning behind it. Understand? Next part of the question says, such as 3 actions that people in the region may take to improve regional integration. Then explain how each action, you suggested will be successful. So here's what I'm going to do. It says, such as 3 actions that people in the region may take to improve regional integration. So how can regional integration be improved, right? What can citizens do to improve regional integration? Then you are going to justify it. Say, why is this action going to be successful? I'm going to give you a STEM, and then you are going to complete it in the comment section. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 STEMs. So how can regional integration be improved? 1, support regional producers. 2, showing solidarity and mutual support. 3, investing in local and regional businesses. So you are going to develop those points and tell me how they are going to be successful. If you have other points of your own, you can also share them in the comment section, because I want you to do some of the work on your own, because exam is right around the corner. I think exam is July 1st, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it is. Let me just double check to see when is the exam, because I don't want the wrong information to be out here. Let me just double check. All right, so the exam is, Thursday, the 1st of July. Paper 2 first, then paper 1. That's what I'm seeing here. So exam is right around the corner, and I want you to be able to think and to problem solve. All right, so let's go through the 3 STEMs again. 1, support regional producers. 2, showing solidarity and mutual support. 3, investing in local and regional businesses, right? So those are the points I want you to develop them and justify them as well. Remember again, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go over to my other channel and subscribe and also watch the video. Get me to 2,000 watch hours over there, Corey Fences. The link is going to be in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.